Oh no. Oh, wow. Excuse me. Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, like, somehow I don't remember setting up this stream either. Like, last night you were like, alright, I'm gonna go to bed, can't wait to make progress on video tomorrow, and of course the stream, and I was like, fuck, what? So... someone coordinated the stream. Oh. Wait, they're saying... oh, no, wait. They're saying they can't hear you. Like, wait, can't hear you at all? Okay, wait. No audio? Okay, well, thanks for the heads up, Indigo. Okay, don't worry, they'll figure it out. In the meantime, I can tell you all my thoughts on Suicide Squad, which I watched last night. It was hilarious. So, Suicide Squad. There's so many things to complain about, but one of them is that, basically, they set up like it's dramatic irony, because they're like, oh, well, we're gonna make sure for the first 40 minutes that the audience knows everything that's happening. They're gonna know Waller's plan, they're gonna know everything about these people. Like, the only thing they don't know is, like, the Joker flashbacks, but they make sure. Like, they exposit it 3 times over.
There we go.
They're assembling a team, and they're gonna do team stuff to fight things like evil Superman. And then at, like, the 40-minute mark, they bring the Suicide Squad into the thing.
I don't know why.
Sorry.
You're coming through like...
Cyan just said, why is Red coming through 4 different channels, so...
Because the thing that really pisses me off about OBS is that it's like, yeah, we kept your settings, but, like, we're not going to give you any input on them. So, like, we have, like, audio input capture too, but just, like, nothing's happening. So, apparently we have you coming through
they can hear you.
Yeah,
3 different channels now because we added another
You're
thing.
coming through input 2, Discord audio, input 3, and mic audio.
What?
Yeah, because when we're not talking and you are, it pops up.
Do we sound
That is...
like... do we sound really loud?
Apparently the game is really loud now.
Jesus Christ.
Well, okay, while they're sorting this out, wait, now they say I'm a little quiet? I guess 3 tracks isn't enough. I can just raise my gain, guys.
You know what, I'm just gonna delete all of the audio channels and then add them in individually.
Please hold for muting.
Wait, no!
We haven't done it yet. We're not that fast.
Okay. Would have been funnier if it was like, no! Anyway. I'll bring back my Suicide Squad thoughts in a minute. Don't worry. Wait, they say you sound fine and I sound really quiet now. No! Okay. They say the game is too loud overall. Yeah, Adam just messaged the exact same thing. Just for the sake of... it's okay.
Okay, now we should have audio again. Now to add Red.
Yes. Restore my power.
Okay, let's see. Browser. Create new.
No, it's not browser.
It's not browser?
No, browser's the one that adds the, like, little...
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Freebie!
Get rid of the browser.
You just added a browser. Get rid of the browser.
Let's remove the browser. We want, is it desktop?
Is it not audio?
Wait, they say I'm here. They say I'm here, guys.
That doesn't surprise me because you're showing up.
What?
Weird.
Oh, wait, are we fine?
I'm so confused.
Let me text Indigo.
Okay, they can hear me. Do we have the game audio still?
I think so. I added it back in.
Okay, well, okay, they say I'm quiet. I can up my gain.
I can also just make your volume louder.
That would probably
little
be
bit.
more efficient.
Okay, let's see if that does anything. It looks like I can
Okay.
see us. It looks like I can...
Indigo so suggests that we up our gain.
Cool, let's up our gain. You know,
Ah,
it really
hell
would be
yeah.
a lot easier to stream if, like, I didn't have to redo this every single time in the middle of the stream because it just forgets my shit every single time.
Yeah. Thanks, OBS.
Whatever, here's a fucking haiku. I don't care.
While we're still sorting this out, who wants to hear the rest of my thoughts on Suicide Squad? We don't have to. It's
I fully forgot what the topic of this haiku is, so here's some nonsense that I strung together.
Woohoo!
You haven't finished stringing the nonsense, though.
Cool. Let's see if we get anything out of this.
Thriving in the dark,
Oh wait, chat's currently yelling about.
idle blades grow ever dull.
I'll hold off until the haiku because it's an experience
Answers
to imagine.
never found.
Cool, there you go. You can go ahead now. Haiku's done.
Oh, sorry, I'm on a lag. I didn't know.
No, it's okay. Now it's finished, though.
Thriving in the dark.
Okay.
Idle blades grow ever dull. Answers never found. The headband
Wow.
of survival.
That's emo.
Just sounds like I'm 14 and this is deep. Also, I hope you all appreciate that I paid a bunch of money to get the 4th level upgrade of the Ronin attire, so we have the evil bell hat. Which is cool.
Sick.
Yeah.
You say the game is still loud.
Yeah, fine.
maybe
Down
I'm
it goes,
still
down it
quiet.
goes.
Sorry.
It's... Oh, hold on. Yeah.
And apparently I'm still quiet. I can just get all up in the mic, honestly. That's a solvable problem.
I love Indigo's explanation. You're gonna get a lot of spam in the chat saying the audio is too low.
Cool. Alright, here, I cut the
Thank you, Indigo.
volumes in half.
Let's go, Nobu.
Let's go see if we can find anything at that big tall pagoda over there.
Hell yeah. And while we walk...
Boy, did we.
I'm so
we were telling
sorry.
Red a little earlier, but basically we had to take the car in to get it serviced. Just
like,
general service,
every
like
5,000 miles.
oil change, some filters. You know, usually service takes about, you know, you might guess like an hour or two
Maybe
if they're
2,
busy.
they might be a little backed up.
Incorrect.
It's
8
been-
hours.
No, it's only been 7 so far. They haven't called us yet. Pretty much
Yeah,
what
Blue.
happened is we dropped off. Blue called 4 hours in and was like, "Hey,
What the fuck?
what's up?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we changed the oil. We're just checking on the filters now." We're like, "Oh, okay. Well, they must have just had something going on this morning. It's fine." They call us an hour later and they're like, "Yeah, so we just checked the filters." And we're thinking, "Okay, it's been an hour and you just checked the filters. Fine." Apparently the filters need to be changed, and that's going to take several hours. It's now been another 2 hours, and no word. So
Yeah.
at this point, we have 3 hours before I have to pick the car up tomorrow.
Your boy's mad.
At least they didn't try to do that thing where they're like, yeah, we checked and like we're gonna need to replace all your tires and like the whole undercarriage of the car is
that's
like
part of the reason I
rusted.
go to this place. They're pretty good and pretty reputable.
Right. Reputable.
Reputable. That's how it's spelled.
Reputabile.
So I've gone to them before, and they've been like, yeah, one of your tires is flat, so you just need to replace the one. I'm like, oh, nice. Whereas, like, you know, you bring it to the dealership, and they're like, well, one of your tires is flat, but that means we should replace all 4 because the new one will wear differently than an old one. It will.
Coincidentally, this will cost you $7,000.
Yeah, and like I knew the filters probably had to be changed. I don't think they've been changed in like 3 years. And, you know, it's an older car. It's got like almost 100,000 miles on it. You know, that stuff kind of happens, and they quoted me a good price for it. Yada yada, great. But
Yeah.
it's been a very long time.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Well, you relax with the game. I can rant about the poor story structure of Suicide Squad.
Please do.
Because, because here's the thing. Exposition is always like a tricky thing to handle in a story because ideally you want your audience to know what's going on, and sometimes that requires that you just like spell shit out for them because sometimes there's no like organic way to get that across. But also sometimes it gets used like purposefully. You give the audience a third-person omniscient perspective and show them stuff that the characters don't know about.
Big Buddha.
Because that lets you do.
Deep meme.
Right. Stop that. But that's because that lets you do dramatic irony, where the audience knows information that the characters don't, and then the characters are like acting in a way that the audience knows is like bad or going to cause bad things because of that knowledge that they're given with the third-person omniscient perspective. It's very useful for specific things. I think that's what they were going for with Suicide Squad because the first 40 minutes are just dedicated to making sure that the audience knows the whole picture. Up to and including stuff that, like, even Amanda Waller doesn't know, and she knows basically everything in the movie. So it's like, okay, we know everything the Suicide Squad is doing, we know all their backstories, we know what the plan for the Suicide Squad is, we know Enchantress's whole evil scheme. We know everything for those first 40 minutes. Which makes you think they're setting it up for like, oh, there's gonna be dramatic irony, the characters are gonna do a thing, and then we're gonna be like, no, you fools, that's not the right thing, and then they're gonna learn the truth. That doesn't happen, perhaps unsurprisingly. What ends up happening is that the Suicide Squad are like, so Rick Flag, what's the situation? And Rick Flag is like, oh, you know, like a terror attack, dirty bombs and stuff. And they're like, you're a bad liar, Mr. Flag. And then that's where that conversation ends. They're like, they don't know what's going on, but the fact that they don't know what's going on does not affect how they approach the situation at all. It's like, oh no, faceless evil minions, guess we better kill them. So, but despite the fact that they don't seem at all like confused or worried or acting incorrectly because of what's going on, they still play it like a big thing when they find out the truth. But it's like, even that seems confusing because like Deadshot finds the binder that has all their files in it and he's like really mad and he throws it and he's like, what's up with that, homeboy? And Rick Flag is like, oh, well, okay, so here's the truth. And then he explains everything that the audience already knows on screen for like 5 minutes, and then everyone gets all mad and leaves. It's like they tried to do a lie reveal plot in Suicide Squad, and then they're like, nah, you know what, this is fine, let's go beat up the Enchantress.
Thank you for your help.
And then the movie ends. Well, they beat up the Enchantress, but then the movie ends. So it's like, they had all the pieces for some dramatic irony lie reveal plot, and then they just didn't put them together right, and it was really weird. Like, there was a lot of bad stuff in that movie, but that was the weirdest structural error, I think.
That I didn't. He
Sorry,
doesn't
I'm
even
slightly
try to
distracted
tell me.
because I went
It's
to
like
shut
talking
down
to
my
a stove.
laptop.
I think he's
And it
afraid
said,
of you.
Sad
Afraid?
face. Your PC
Why?
ran into a problem and
You
needs
can
to
be
restart.
intimidating.
Which is very confusing.
Oh, no.
Whole world,
Because
that is not a bad
all I was doing was shutting
We're
it down.
hunting a cruel and vicious
I hate when like your
It was a
computer can't
retainer
even turn
job.
off right.
dependable and
It's just gonna be
failed
one of those
successfully?
days.
anger. We excused his
Yeah, you
behavior
know, our
until
plan
the
was to
day
get
I
a
caught him
takeout for
beating
dinner.
his wife
Now I'm
and
wondering
daughter.
if I should just stay
Coward.
home and make pasta.
Hurting his own family.
I have bad news.
Immediately.
The game
I
audio
offered
still
his
out.
wife that
I'm sorry.
Which mixer is even the
shoot
I
game
don't
audio?
even know anymore.
Okay, because like Red, your
it's
desktop.
Okay, I'm
dialogue
just gonna
specific.
spam the horse whistling button to see if I can find anything spiking.
It's not always easy.
It's the dialogue specifically. I think
Especially
there's a
when you
game
think
option
they'll
to
Yeah, we turned it down
That's
to
turned down as quiet as
30%.
the rest.
whack.
Audio input captured.
There we go. How's that?
Woohoo! I guess we'll find out.
Sorry to all the headphone users who just had horse whistle audio.
I needed to get it to spike, fam. I'm sorry.
Hey, sorry.
Now you get to suffer.
You
as
do
they
lab research, right? I'm considering it as a career. Do you have any advice? Yes. Lab research is great, but if you're in a lab job, it often means weird hours. It's very hard to find a 9-to-5 lab job. It normally doesn't happen. But it's also really cool. You get to do a lot of hands-on work. But if you're like gunning for a job where you have like super consistent hours and you get to like go home every day at 5 o'clock, I mean, you have to read the company because, like, I have a lab job and I keep pretty consistent hours, but my job is technically only half lab time. So
Sorry.
if you can find a job like that, that's great. But if you're gonna be working solely in a lab, unless you're like on shifts or something, usually you're gonna have weird hours. Sometimes that's great. Sometimes it's not great. It's great when you're younger and don't have that, like, you don't necessarily need to have a super strict work schedule. And I personally really enjoy it, but just keep that in mind if you're going into any, like, research-based job, especially in, like, chemistry. You know, if you start a reaction and you need to finish the reaction before you go home, and that reaction takes 2.5 hours to do, then you're there for 2.5 hours. That's just what you're doing. Do you guys even read the live chat? I just did.
You fool.
I don't, because I'm playing the game.
Yeah, Blue's too busy.
What kind of chemistry do? I do medicinal chemistry. I do drug metabolism studies.
Ooh.
Yes. Ears are broken, but our wishes are fulfilled.
Woohoo!
Sorry,
Everyone's
fam.
happy.
I wish that OBS wasn't like this, and I don't know how to make it not. Because, like, it keeps the settings. It's just like, no, we're not actually gonna, like, keep those settings, you know? Like, all of the microphones are set to the same volume when we plug them in, and then it's just like, no, we're actually not.
No.
It's actually not gonna. You know how it says, like, you have your audio input coming through? No, you actually don't. I don't know why it would tell you that.
We've actually gone through 2 different laptops to try to get OBS to work, not to mention multiple different, like, software setups. So we're doing our best, friends. We're doing our best.
Honestly, it's still better than our earlier attempt where it was like, we're capturing directly from the PS4, and anyone on a Discord call is, like, being played out of laptop speakers and then captured again by a mic.
Yeah.
It was jankier, but honestly, there were fewer moving parts, and it kind of worked better.
It just kind of worked.
Yeah. But I mean, that's always how it goes, right? Like, in order to make it work,
Oh, yeah.
it's like way more I mean, when we switched to OBS, we knew it was going to be terrifying.
Oh, it was
because,
fucked
like,
from minute 1.
yeah, but like, we're live. We're messing up live on the internet. That's
Yeah.
horrifying. It's
Yeah.
like, oh god, it's so scary.
The problem is that since it's not like a PC streaming setup, I mean, it is a PC streaming setup, but it's, you know, PS4 games. One of the problems is that we don't have a dedicated, like, streaming space where all of the pieces just are, and then we turn it on and go. Like, we have to assemble everything every time, because I can't just leave Cyan's, like, backup laptop, my microphone, and all of these random cords, you know, in random places, because then, you know, I capture cards and stuff and plugging things in.
Yeah.
Everything has to get assembled every time, and I guess every time is a new opportunity for it to get fucked. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
less of an issue on my end because I don't, like, stream games. Whenever I stream, it's just like reading, which means it's just my normal recording setup, but also it's live. So it's really the gaming aspect that makes this a huge pain. And I honestly think, like, that's kind of deliberate, because if it were easy to stream video games, people would be like, I mean, you know how video game companies were like, oh no, they're making videos with our content. That's illegal.
No, that was just
And-
Nintendo.
Wait, did this guy
Just
like,
Nintendo?
high-key
Okay.
just kill his family? And also
Oh,
her
shit,
family?
what?
Yeah, this guy is responsible for Lady Masako's family getting murdered.
But, like,
Oh,
did he
shit.
also kill his own family? Like, is that what just happened?
Yeah, you know, maybe. Look, anytime we play a story mission on stream, I fully have no idea what's happening. So yeah, I think he's doing his big... Oh, yeah,
Oh!
confession. There he goes.
You just got confession. Now you got it.
Sword in your face.
You just really hate the thought of being a decent person.
Ooh.
Conspirators are bonded by hate, the attack on your plan is personal. Yeah. So Lady Masako's story is basically that after her... I think I explained this in the last stream. After her family went off to go fight the Mongols in Komoda Beach, the rest of her family got, like, randomly assassinated, and then she was tracking down the conspiracy about it. Masako is a very interesting character, unlike Sensei Ishikawa, who just unambiguously sucks.
Wait,
Masako
I'm sorry.
is cool
Wait.
and nuanced.
So wait, her deal is that there was, like, a conspiracy to assassinate her family?
Yeah, so all of her
was-
family is dead except her. Literally everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, this whole thing is like an Assassin's Creed style plot of, like, go hunt the conspirators, because of course she gets a list of all the baddies, and then we've been hunting them across various places.
That's a little bit Lone Wolf and Cub, honestly.
Oh yeah, there's a reason people say this game's story is derivative as heck. Like, old plot done well, but like, old plot.
That's true, yeah. I mean, honestly, if it's well executed, it doesn't bother
Yeah.
me. And since the point of this game is clearly to be a love letter to like classic samurai content,
Yeah.
it would honestly be a crime if they didn't bring up Lone Wolf and Cub at some point. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on the Frank Miller preface to Lone Wolf and Cub? any thoughts at all?
Yes. Okay, so just for context, for those of you who are unaware, Lone Wolf and Cub was a very early manga, technically speaking, and then it was a Japanese comic. It had a very unique, like, brush and paint art style that made it look extremely, like, very hard lines. It was very pretty. And the story is basically that this guy, who is the shogun's official executioner, gets... Let's see, his wife gets murdered, and he gets framed for treason against the shogunate by ninjas. Basically, there are ninjas, and they work for the shogun, and they're like, we want all the power, so we're gonna take his power, and it's gonna be great. And instead of committing seppuku like he's supposed to, he's like, all right, I have like an infant son who was born the night my wife was killed. I'm gonna go walk the path of vengeance, but I feel like my son should have a choice. Okay, son, if you choose the ball, I will kill you and you will join your mother. If you choose the sword, you will join me on my path to hell. And the baby, who is a baby, toddles over to the sword and he's like, all right, I guess that we're doing this. And then they go off and wander the world as an assassin, a lone wolf and cub. Yeah, so he's got like his son Daigoro in like a little baby cart, which has a bunch of like knives hidden in it. It's great. And then they go and assassinate stuff. And then after a while, eventually he has his final showdown with the ninja guy. Frank Miller loves this comic. Frank Miller loves this comic so much that when they translated it into English, Frank Miller got to write the intro and do the cover art. This was not a good decision. I would not call Frank Miller's art style bad, but I would call it extremely ugly.
Frank Miller.
Comic
Frank-
artist.
oh,
from
Okay,
the
thank you.
80s?
Sorry.
Okay, yeah, sorry. For reference, Frank Miller is probably one of like 3 people who are directly responsible for the comic book Dark Age. He made The Dark Knight Returns. He made the comic that 300 is based on, I think.
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
he's
right.
that asshole.
Sounds right. He had a very large effect on the field of comics overall. He made Sin City. That's the main thing. Sin City is hilarious, by the way. It's not supposed to be, but it is. Anyway, so Frank Miller did the cover art for some of the translations of Lone Wolf and Cub, which, again, he has a very unique and extremely ugly art style. But it's, like, deliberate. Like, you can tell. He's not unskilled. It's just chunky as hell.
He's not like
and
untalented,
he
he
wrote-
just chose wrong, you know?
Chunky as hell is a big mood.
Yeah, well, I mean... but here's the thing, like, Frank Miller,
Fox.
Frank Miller, I don't want to sass him that hard,
I mean,
because
it's- like, I get it, it's
he
tall
really
grass,
did have a
like,
big
I don't know how
impact on the
long those
field.
feel. Where the fuck are you?
Sorry.
Right, yeah, sorry. So Frank Miller, wrote the intro to Lone Wolf and Cub, and, I'm gonna see if I can find them, because I screenshotted some of them because I couldn't believe that they were real. Because it's like, I won't repeat all of them, and I can't find them like right now.
Oh,
But,
there's a dead man on the beach.
He was like,
Yeah, I'll do
for the
that
longest time, I couldn't read my favorite comic because it was in Japanese.
Then how was it your favorite comic?
Well, he really likes the art, I guess. And the thing is, like, even if you can't read what's going on, there's a very surly, quiet guy who stabs people a lot. Obviously, Frank Miller is going to be into that. But here's the thing, like, you know how some people are like, this ain't your grandpappy's comic book. This is, like, a cool comic book with tits in it. That's basically Frank Miller. That's Frank Miller's entire approach to comic book writing.
I thought you were gonna say my least favorite type of person, but that's fair too.
I mean,
Yeah, well, here's the thing, like, Frank Miller, like, every intro is the same. It's Frank Miller being like, the last time you bought a comic, it was probably a flimsy, colorful thing designed for children and the mentally disabled. That's a quote.
God.
I know!
That is
He's
not
really
okay.
not great. No, it's not! I mean, it was 87. It was a different time, but also, Jesus Christ, Frank Miller.
okay.
So, there's also one where he's like, the world changed forever when the nuclear bomb was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. unleashing a wave of radiation and death. The world changed centuries before when Japanese steel was first folded 10,000 times. It's like, oh yeah, no. Yeah, that's a good comparison, Frank. Please compare the katana to the nuclear bomb again.
I'm sure Japan is a fan of that comparison.
It is
Please
so
go on.
funny. It is just so funny because, like, it's, listen, the image of the modern weeb is like, you know, the skinny teenage guy with the fedora who's like, this is my katana. But Frank Miller was the OG, guys. He was the one who pioneered being way into a culture for no reason that the culture itself would appreciate. It's just really fun. I strongly recommend you look it up. It is hilarious. It's hilarious in the way that only something
Oh my god.
painfully sincere can be. He also, in a later arc in Sin City, no, it's not even later, he has a character in Sin City. She's Japanese. She's a ninja. She never talks. She is also a prostitute. And she kills people real good. And that is, that's her whole thing. She also wears roller skates for an entire issue. I don't know why.
I want to wear roller skates for an entire issue.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny. And the thing is, like, Lone Wolf and Cub is really good. It's like, it's really good. It does pathos really well. It has a surprising number of, like, happy endings, despite the fact that the premise is really, really dark. Like, it kind of does that thing where the protagonist is a wanderer, so he'll just wander into a plot with a different cast and, like, he'll help out some people, and then he'll wander out of the story again at the end. And they do that a lot. And a lot of those stories have, like, happy endings where he, like, helps a couple kids avenge their dad, or, you know, honors a woman's dying wishes by, like, bringing her hair home to the village she grew up in where she planted the rice.
Assassin.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I was like, man, I can totally see where Frank Miller got a lot of his ideas from, but he really missed the point because there's a lot of, like, actually happy endings and nuanced female characters who aren't just prostitutes or dead. Anyway, but the funny thing is, at one point, I was, like, using a chapter as an example where they introduced these cool ladies who were, like, falconers, who, like, worked for the Shogun, and I was like, oh yeah, see, this is cool. This is like a cast of ladies who aren't prostitutes or dead. And then, like, in the middle of the chapter, it's like, by the way, we're all prostitutes. And then at the end of the chapter, they all died. And I was like, okay, bad example. But, you see what I'm going for here, you know? Like, there are other girls. Anyway, it was very funny. It's really, highly recommend looking it up because, it's funny in the way that only something painfully sincere but extremely misguided can be.
So, not to completely derail the conversation, which is a pun that I will get to in a minute, but the chat mentioned it, so I had to Google it. Apparently, George R.R. Martin is buying the Santa Fe Southern Railroad.
What?
Yeah, the chat was like, so George R.R. Martin's a train conductor now, and I was like, what? And so I Googled it, and apparently, yeah, he's buying the historic Santa Fe Railroad. I don't know why.
Hello, welcome. This is George R. R. Martin Railways. We'll be making several stops in the first few years to get a really good sense of, like, moving towards the destination, but pack a lot of lunches because we will never get to the end of this railroad track.
Yeah. Anything to avoid finishing Song of Ice and Fire. I guess.
Yeah, they didn't want the financially challenged rail. It's him and, like, 2 other people. They did not want the financially challenged railway to fall into further disrepair or fade away. Quote, there's something about train travel that brings you back to a time that we assume was simpler, more community-based time, long before the internet, before air travel, and even before television.
I mean, I respect that. I also like trains, as we discussed last time.
I like trains. Trains are great. Also, apparently, George R. R. Martin was born in Bayonne, New Jersey.
Huh.
Would not have guessed that.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's buying a train.
Heck yeah.
So,
You
sorry,
know what?
that
Live
was
your
completely
dreams.
had nothing to do with any of the conversation we were having, but the chat mentioned it, like, several conversations ago, and I was just taking some time to Google it.
I mean, it's all good. I was basically done trashing Frank Miller anyway.
Yeah, so sorry to derail the conversation.
Hey.
I know.
Oh god, excuse me. I got the hiccups.
Next Game of Thrones book involves a train.
Train of Thrones.
Trains.
All right. Need some tea.
I like trains.
I'll also drink some tea.
I will also drink some tea.
Yeah, tea
Indigo,
gang.
yellow, get your tea ready.
Oh man, not to loop back to Suicide Squad, but while we're talking about writers who are really into cultures that maybe they don't fully understand or even have a tangential understanding of, I noticed while I was listening to the dialogue in Suicide Squad that there were quite a number of dogs, bros, bitches, gangstas, and all that jazz peppered into the dialogue of Deadshot, played by Will Smith, and El Diablo, you'll never guess what nationality he is. And I was like, wow, you can barely tell a white guy wrote this. And then the Twitter comments were like, oh yeah, every movie this guy makes is like that. He also made Bright, which explained everything.
Oh, that does explain everything.
Yeah. I wonder if he was like, hey, do you want to be in Suicide Squad so later you can be in my passion project movie about orc cops? Will Smith was like, what? I mean, okay.
I'm gonna tweet a picture of Cleo right now because she's has her favorite chair now, and she has started sleeping in the weirdest positions because the chair is like kind of divoted downwards. I'm gonna tweet it with no context, so if you're not on the stream, you're gonna be very confused.
Hell yeah.
But so it kind of divots downward a bit. So she started sleeping in like some of the weirdest positions, instead of just like, you know, normal cat like loaf, donut. No, so right now she's on her back, like all limbs splayed, tail poking out.
That is amazing.
So, check the Twitter at blue BLOO Danube.
I'll check it right now. I want to see the cat.
Indigo is drinking black coffee to be on brand. That is very on brand.
Very on brand.
Hell yeah.
Indigo.
Oh my god, she's amazing and I love her. I was talking about Cleopatra, but also Indigo, you're the best.
Indigo could be drinking black coffee at 10 o'clock at night and I would not bat an eye.
I mean, oh, by the way, so here's a fun thing. I found a way to hybridize Dalgona coffee and Thai iced coffee. So basically, Dalgona coffee I've talked about occasionally is basically, you make it with instant coffee and sugar and just hot water. Basically, it's 2 tablespoons of each, and then you just mix them together, and then you whip them up until they get like really light and foamy, and it produces this incredibly weird texture, and then you like pour it over milk, and then it just kind of slowly permeates the milk, and you drink it through a straw. It's great. Thai iced coffee is coffee brewed with cardamom and sometimes almond extract, and then served over like milk and sweetened condensed milk. So
Yes, you did.
So basically, the trick is you make the Dalgona coffee as normal, but you flavor the milk. You like boil it with cardamom pods in it, or just like 1 cardamom pod ground open, and a little bit of almond extract, and then you put the Dalgona over it, and you mix it a little bit, and you basically, and you can put some sweetened condensed milk in there too, and then you basically just get the Dalgona coffee effect with the flavor of Thai iced coffee. Highly recommend. It's delicious. It will keep you up for 17 hours straight, unless you're me.
Yellow says that he has whiskey tea, which
Ooh.
I don't know if that's like tea meant to taste like whiskey or tea with whiskey in it, and either way, big mood.
Either way, that sounds fun.
That reminds me of the time I went to one of those mega Starbuckses that had a novelty bar on the top floor.
Yeah, those are
Yeah,
fun.
that was...
Reserves is what they're called.
Sorry, which?
Starbucks Reserve is, I think, what it's called.
Yeah, it's the Reserve, the roastery.
Yeah, Simon and I went to one last year?
Yeah.
In the fall? Yeah, I think so.
You know, in
It's-
the before time where we traveled.
Before the dark times. It was really funny because it took itself so seriously. And like, here's the thing. Starbucks coffee is just like burned. They burn the beans. It's just true. It makes all of their coffee taste kind of burned. That's not like a dig against it. Some people really like it that way. It's just, you know, all the nuanced flavors don't really come out because it's been burned. So when the roastery has these signs that are like, here's how to properly taste your coffee. Just remember, first you must sniff it, then you must slurp it, then savor. And it's like, all right, it tastes like Starbucks. It's not going to stop tasting like Starbucks just because you made me drink it in a really weird way.
Oh, sorry. I
But,
was just saying, we went to one in Soho.
yeah.
It was pretty chill.
The one I went to had a bar on the top floor, and that bar had like novelty alcohols flavored like coffee. They were like, no, this is oh god. Okay, so I don't know shit about alcohol, so I might be getting this wrong, but I think it was like a kind of whiskey that was brewed in a barrel with just coffee beans, which flavored it like
Oh, yeah,
coffee.
that's a thing people do. It doesn't
Well, here's the thing. They like let you compare. They gave you like a little shot of the coffee and then a shot of like the coffee flavored whiskey. And I was like, all right, well, the coffee tastes bad, and then the coffee flavored whiskey tastes bad in 3 different ways. How interesting.
Bad, but on fire.
It's just, I don't like the taste of alcohol. Yeah, like, here's the thing. To its credit, I was like, okay, this does not taste like other alcohol I've had. I can't mix this up with like red or white wine or whatever. It's not good. It tastes like bad, and then also bad in that other way, and then like maybe a little hint of coffee bad. I felt bad because I was with a friend who is like a much more prolific drinker of both coffee and alcohol than me, so I would like sip it and be like, cool, it was nasty, and he was like, oh, okay, I'll take it, and then just down the rest of the glass. I was like, how are you alive? So, amazing.
See, my favorite, and by favorite, I mean one of the most cursed YouTube videos I have ever seen, was a video about like how to drink, oh, you did.
I died.
It was like how to
fully
drink
died.
tea properly. And the guy starts off and, he's like, you want to like swirl the tea around. I'm like, all right, I'm down for this. He's like, smell it. I'm like, cool. And he's like, take a sip. I'm like, it sounds good. And he's like, now push it back and forth between your teeth, making it like, and I'm like, nope, sorry, can't, nope, never again.
Absolutely not.
Nope, cannot.
Oh,
Even if
God.
it tastes better, it is not worth it.
It's not worth it.
No.
Sorry
You know,
to everyone in the stream who just got to hear us both make that noise.
I will say, it's kind of a bummer to me that the only fields where people mix drinks commonly are coffee and alcohol, because it's like, I don't particularly like the flavor of either of those things, but the concept of mixing a drink is really fun to me. Like,
You should come over here. I make tea cocktails sometimes where it's no
Oh,
alcohol, it's
hell
just tea
yeah.
flavorings in it. There's
I
one
mean,
we
honestly, this is...
stole from our library by like Taste Testery, which is like a vanilla lavender
Oh, yeah.
Earl Grey latte.
Ooh. See, that's what I can get behind, where it's just like a drink I'll actually enjoy all the way through, and it's made of several ingredients. That's fun. Like Shirley Temple's, but for grown-ups, I guess. Anyway.
And then what else is fun? You can do one of my all-time favorite Starbucks drinks back when I was in college with like bajillion Starbucks and I used to go a lot, was like their Cold Buster, which is just like, I think it's like honey lemonade. Like you do honey and steamed lemonade instead of water, and you add like tea bags to it, and it's just like hot lemony tea, and it's pretty tasty.
Steamed lemonade.
Yeah, it's just that's the only way they have to like heat it up. They don't
Oh,
really have like a
okay.
microwave, so they just they use like a milk frother to heat up the
Gotcha.
lemonade. Yeah.
It's a bit cursed, but okay.
Everyone's like, it's called a London fog, Cyan. Yes, but it's different. Trust me. I've had a London fog, and I have had this, and they're not quite the same. But I appreciate you explaining to me what drinks are.
Wow.
Whew!
It's been a day. I'm not
Spicy.
here for the BS.
I mean, I don't disagree, but like...
Sorry. It's been a day.
Yeah, no, that it has. It's one of those days where it's like, streaming's probably a mistake, but you know what? We're here. We've told
Yeah.
enough people that we plan to do it that it's like, if we don't, it's like,
No, remember, this was the
Besides-
mystery stream that only you knew about.
Yeah.
It came to you in a dream,
Yeah.
a vision.
Blue, I have an idea for a bad idea. 1, make a video on the Cold War, but after that you should stream next Wednesday. Still mad about that. I'm not mad about it, I'm just disappointed. I knew that I wouldn't get some of the comments
think...
like, oh my god, Blue, like, you got all these details wrong, and be like, let me give you my highly specific opinions about my wild biases about communism and capitalism. It's like, cool, so you didn't really watch the video all the way through?
I mean,
some people had
that's
very
really
valid
how it
points,
goes.
but some people were like, I can't believe you gave communism a pass, and I'm like, did you watch the video? Guys,
I mean-
so...
Here's the thing.
Most
Here's
people
why
were
you
very
should...
nice, but some people were being very, not thinking through.
Here's why
It's
you should
fine.
never take that stuff personally.
Oh, I don't.
Well, okay, good. For the audience, then, here's why you should
Okay.
never take that stuff personally. It's because when someone comments like that, and your first thought is, "Did you fucking watch the video?" The answer is basically no. They see the world through this extremely biased lens, and anything that doesn't line up with how they want it to look, they interpret as fitting into one of many categories of usually enemy. So, like, if you don't say something like, communism was handcrafted by the devil to seduce the minds of America's youth, then they'll be like, ah, an enemy. Whereas you might be like, communism didn't work out so hot and resulted in a lot of bad stuff. They won't look at that and think, oh, you know, he seems to be saying something that lines up with my general opinion. He's just phrasing it in a different way. They'll be like, you didn't use the right keywords, and therefore I cannot grant you access to my super cool best friends club. And that's really all it is. Like, when someone is commenting in a way that makes it clear that they are talking to themselves, that's because that's what they're doing. Like, that you don't factor into the equation. You're just conveniently there.
Yeah, no, that's valid. I think it was telling that most of the comments were like, wow, I'm impressed that Blue managed to get all of this into one thing. The one thing that I found most funny was when people were like, Blue, I can't believe you got the borders for Hungary wrong. You still obviously janked it up. And I'm like, so here's the thing. In 1945, 4, 5, and 6, Hungary's borders were still their wartime borders. It wasn't until 47 that it came into the shape that everyone recognizes today. You'll see later in the video, I use the borders that you recognize. However, in 1946, Hungary and Romania and Russia had a little bit different borders in that little part of the world. So it's like, guys. So I put some, whatever. It fully does not matter. It's just like, come on.
Honestly, yeah, that's the kind of thing where it bugged me a lot when the channel was like newer and I was seeing these things and taking them more personally and being like, oh no, I failed to communicate my point to this one guy on the internet. I need to do better. And then after a while I was like, oh god, there's like an endless supply of these people. Never mind. Yeah. After a while you just do your best, and like, you know, the art you create and the art people see are never going to be quite the same, but someone who's like put on so many blinders that they're seeing the world through a very specific shaped hole isn't going to see what you were intending anyway, and then they're going to yell at you like it's your fault, and after a while you just kind of got to like lean back and be like, okay buddy,
and even in like a generous version of that, it's like you can try to be everybody's cup of tea, but then, you know, some people don't like tea, metaphorically speaking. So it's like there's no way to appease everybody, even like if people aren't being like wildly malicious about stuff. It's like people's tastes are fundamentally different, and you know, not everything is going to resonate with everybody in the way that, you know, you might want, and that's okay.
You can make the best work you could possibly make and it will still have a limited audience. Like, whatever project you have in mind, you can make it perfect, and there are still going to be people who are like, I just don't like that kind of thing, you know? It's just a thing. It's just true, and it's not personal.
Woo, you got it.
Finally.
Woohoo!
First standoff I've gotten days.
But yeah, you know, people can have different tastes and different opinions, but at the end of the day, as someone in the comments so lovingly put, only Sith deal in absolutes.
Oh my gosh, did that happen to be the Obi-Wan Kenobi novelty account? Because we have a novelty account.
This is in the chat.
Okay.
The chat, sorry.
Okay, but on our YouTube videos, there's a novelty account that's just Obi-Wan Kenobi that always posts Star Wars memes related to the topic of the video. It is always the comment that I look forward to getting whenever I post a new video.
I fucking love that guy. I also have to give a shout out to the YouTube account Just Some Guy with a Mustache, whose profile picture is the character Jalal from Fairy Tail with a mustache photoshopped on. There was a trope talk where I used Fairy Tail as an example, and that character showed up, and he commented, who's that guy? He looks really handsome. So,
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I challenged the remaining enemies by shouting, "Who will face me first?" while underneath the house. Go out and face me. Come down here, where we're able to duke it out honorably underneath the floorboards of this house. He came inside the house. Ha.
He's like so
douche.
confused. Douche canoe.
You douche big. Gotta go full Joyzy on that one.
Stop it.
Again, we return to the point where all of the like impersonations of those accents like become the same thing, even though all of those like different accents and dialects are very different things. They all like all the impressions meet in a weird medium space where it's not New Jersey, it's not Philly, it's not Long Island,
not Brooklyn, yeah,
but it is like weirdly mid-Atlantic.
Yeah.
Indigo says Blue becomes like Cat hiding under the couch, clawing at anyone foolish enough to try to fish him out.
Just like reaching out from under the couch with a knife, just stabbing people whenever they get too close. That's a wonderful visual.
Me trying to eat healthy, but also really wanting snacks. This is just me. Right now.
I love this forest that we're in with all the pretty red trees. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Wonder what this would look like when on fire.
People keep saying things like, Cyan is really quiet. Now blue is quieter than cyan. Red just got quiet. Sometimes we don't use our projecting voices to speak into the microphones, which is just a thing that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
So sometimes we
Yeah.
talk a little bit under our breath. So if one of us is suddenly quieter, it's probably why it will fix
Yeah,
itself.
sometimes we mutter and mumble because not always do I speak like this, only when
What ho, friends?
Yeah.
Truly
I'm,
a victory for the forces of justice.
I'm using my like proper recording setup, which means my mic is facing into basically a big wall of soundproofing foam. But that means that I can't put my laptop behind it and thus in my immediate field of view while I'm talking into the mic, because that'll produce a big hard surface for the sound to bounce off of, producing echoes, which would be gross. So I have my laptop like over to the side, which means in order to look at the chat and the screen, I need to have my face like this. And if you just heard any difference, it's because I'm no longer facing my mic, I'm now facing like tangential to the mic. So that sometimes that just happens. And if you want me to be able to read your comments and also talk, there's going to be some variation in audio.
Yeah, we just have a mic sitting between the two of us on a table covered in a blanket. That's our very professional streaming
Yeah, the
setup.
blanket is about as much as we're gonna get.
It's a very good blanket. I got it my senior year of high school for doing the fence. I fenced it.
Do you want to do a mission with Sensei Ishikawa? It's kind of fun to talk shit about him.
Yeah, sure, go do it.
Yeah.
Let's go. Or we can go get our family's armor. We can also do a story mission.
It is officially 2 hours before we'll have to get our car tomorrow. Stay tuned for updates on the car.
Spoiler alert,
no.
we're getting that car tomorrow.
Well, no. So they've got 2 hours. Sure, it takes us 15 minutes to get there. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Well, the nice thing, so where we live, due to the fact that it is a studio apartment in a city, we can't park the car. We don't have like assigned parking or like parking at our buildings or a driveway that you might have if you live in a place that's not hell. But so pretty much what we have to do is we have to park. I have a residence permit, so as a resident, I can park the car on the street. However, I can only park the car on the street during the day. I cannot park the car on the street during the night. At night, I have to park the car in a lot, a very specific lot. But I can't park the car there till 8 p.m. So every day I get home from work, we park the car on the street, and then at 8 p.m. we go park the car in the lot, which is fun. So if the car's at the dealership or the repair place, I don't have to deal with
I'll
that.
have to move it.
Don't have to move the car because it's not my responsibility right now. It's fine. It's fine.
That is one of the really frustrating things about cars is needing to put them places.
Yeah.
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 But
God.
my commute used to be about 45 minutes and would require taking a train and 2 buses. And the last bus that I needed to catch, even at rush hour, only ran like every 10-15 minutes. So if you miss it, because say your first bus is delayed because it's a bus, you're gonna be fun. It's just complicated to live in the city, friends. It just is. But you know, there's a lot of benefits to it too. In our case, we only have one car, and we both work in different places. So if we lived in the middle of nowhere, Blue could not go places.
Yeah. What's up, Red?
Sorry. Well, the city thing actually reminded me. Anyone with a halfway decent view of the sky, the Perseid meteor showers peaked last night but are still visible for the next couple days. Ooh. So if you're awake at 2 a.m. like I am, I highly recommend that you pop out with like, I don't know, a nice mug of tea and just watch the sky for shooting stars. I'm in a place with like semi-ridiculous amounts of light pollution. Usually you can't make out the dimmer stars in any constellation, but here's the fun thing about shooting stars. Though they are much shorter lived, they are brighter than stars. Yes. So you can still see them, even if you're in a place with extensive light pollution, so you can only make out like the 3 brightest levels of star, if that makes sense.
That could be fun. Yeah. That was always my favorite part. So I spent most of my childhood in a place that is not like super rural, but like fairly rural. It's like when you're a suburb of a suburb of a suburb, you know, that kind of rural. Lots of farms and stuff. So, you know, we had pretty decent like views of the sky. I mean, I lived on a street with streetlights, but besides that, like, you know, you could see pretty well. You just go in the backyard. But my favorite thing was going to camp, because when you're at camp, there is like no light pollution because there's like no lights. So that was always really fun, being able to see the stars. And one year we went hiking on the Appalachian Trail for like, it was like a 5-night thing. We did like, it wasn't like a super intense hike. I think like in 5 days we did like 40 something miles, which, you know, it's not negligible for, you know, like 13-year-old, but like, you know, not huge. Some people do like the Appalachian Trail in 3 days, and I'm like, good for you. You could see like such a great view the whole time. And one night we were on top of this little mountain, and we go to bed seeing all the stars, and then wake up the next morning in a cloud. Super cool. There was also then this like yoga instructor who decided that she was going to go hiking as well, and happened to be there, and she's like, good morning, girls, would you like to join me for yoga? And we're like, yeah, sure, I guess. We were really bad at it. We did yoga on top of a mountain in a cloud. That was pretty cool.
That's cool. That's one of my favorite parts about cross-country road trips, is that usually you can't drive cross-country in, you know, one day, which means you end up stopping in hotels in a lot of like very scenic areas. So we at one point stopped in a hotel in like Pennsylvania, like top of a mountain somewhere. And when we woke up, there was like mist all below us. Like it was in a cloud. You could like look down and see. It was really pretty. Of course, then we had to drive through it, which was less fun. But anyway, it's very pretty. And that kind of like, you know, going somewhere natural and then just watching the world change around you. It's very nice. Although, be careful doing it right now, because there are a lot of people who are like, oh, I can't go to parties, but I can go camping. So now like the rural areas that usually have no people in them are getting a little bit unsafely crowded. So,
Just be safe, friends.
Yeah.
This too shall pass, and then you can all go camping.
Actually, a friend of
OSP
mine,
virtual camp trip.
a friend of mine did take like a weekend camping trip onto the Appalachian Trail, actually, and like ran into some of those people who've been doing like the full trail from like through the states. Some of them have been on that trail since before the pandemic.
Yeah, it's a
And they're like,
trail.
yeah, and they were like, I mean, we were told to clear out, but it's like, it's way more unsafe for me to arrange trains at home than it is for me to just finish the hike. So, now that's an untapped apocalypse genre. The apocalypse happens while you're on the Appalachian Trail. How do you handle it?
That's good.
I hate these eagles. They added a lot of extra difficulty features after you do the Castle Canada thing, and one of them is that Mongols have eagles. So I was being all stealthy, and then suddenly I got a little indication that was like, you are being spotted by an eagle, and then suddenly I was being attacked by like 4 guys, because apparently the eagle like radioed in to mention that there was a dude outside the camp.
That's fun.
It's annoying when I can't find them.
I mean, if you weren't trying to kill them without being seen... Oh, there's one over there on the other side of the house.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
it's the leader.
If you are trying to just find them, you could just scream.
Hey, buddy. Dead.
Well,
Is he gonna notice? No.
that guy is.
Oh no. I ran out of regular arrows. Whatever will I do?
Is he just gonna stay on fire?
Luckily, I have this fun new mode where I get to just murder the shit out of people in one attack.
Ah, Rage of the Gods.
They
Yeah,
want to know
basically.
if you killed the eagle.
I did.
Yes. Sorry, Yellow.
Ooh, chat brought up Smash Bros. Any excuse to gush about my boy. I'm not like great at Smash Bros, I think, but I play as Ike, which makes up the difference. Yeah.
See, Indigo and I both like to meme while we play Smash Bros. So I only play Kirby. Only.
Oh
ever.
no. Oh,
it's
no, no,
really funny. But I'm also notoriously bad at playing Kirby. Like, I constantly forget what the buttons do. So I'll just, like, eat someone but forget how to spit them out. So I'm just wandering around, like... And Indigo only plays Bandana Chew, which is Pikachu in a bandana.
Oh, good. Yeah,
We have
Ike is fun because he hits like a train, and it's like very therapeutic. But
Tell George R.R. Martin that he hits like a train.
the problem is, here's the thing. I greatly enjoy playing Smash Bros, and most of the time I have a good time even if I lose. But sometimes I get tilted, and that doesn't feel good. That just doesn't feel good at all because like I was playing Magenta was playing as King K. Rool, doing the thing where it's just like fire the ball and then suck you into the gun and then shoot you over and over again. And I couldn't hit it once, and I hated it. So, you know, that's not fun. As Ike, I'm happy if I get to hit somebody, but, there are many styles of play that make this impossible, and then I get all salty, so... I try to avoid that.
I like how the chat is all just talking about people that they play, and then one person says, I have a sore shoulder muscle, how do I fix it? And I'm just like, please do not turn to YouTube chats for medical advice.
I mean, stretch that bad boy out and maybe put, like, a hot compress on it, but...
Yeah. Just give it some rest. Give it some rest. As long as you don't have any other underlying musculoskeletal things.
I think that's the car.
the car. Hello?
Oh.
Hello?
Hold on, everyone. Stay tuned. Car things are happening.
Hello?
So, we're
yeah.
having fun running around. Oh, we get the singing crickets? Nope, that's just a regular cricket. Aha, these ones. If we get a bunch of them, then we can get more songs to change the weather with our magical... Oh, there are more of you.
Oh, hell yeah. Beautiful.
Oh,
Oh, it's only 4 o'clock. I was gonna ask if you want to grab dinner on my way back.
it might be too early.
Oh, yeah. That was gonna be before I realized it was 4
nuts.
o'clock.
What
Well,
if...
It's gonna take me like 15 minutes to get there. I wouldn't get back here till like 4:45.
Would it be bad if we just kind of like left in like 20 minutes and like broke the stream early and then...
Yeah, no, that's
Would
fine.
that... Red, would you be okay with that?
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. I mean,
Okay.
we're doing all right.
Okay, is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
They don't know how
cool.
far away I am.
Yeah, fair. That's a them problem. They're the ones who made us wait all day.
Okay, let me just double check that they actually close at 6.
Yeah, we'll play a little bit more and then we can wrap up and,
Yeah, they close at 6.
and head
so
on out. Okay, cool. So,
It could very
let's
easily
see.
take us half an hour to get there with
let's
no
see
car.
what's over here in this undiscovered location. It's very pretty in this forest. There's something else I wanted to talk about today. Oh, well, first I wanted to mention the masks. If you haven't heard already, I don't know how.
Right,
we're
right.
selling masks with Volante Design, a fantastic clothing company based out of Massachusetts, western part of the state. We're working with them to sell some awesome masks for you, but also you can help us provide masks for kids going back to school soon. A lot of districts in Massachusetts are going remote for the first half of the semester, which is great. We were first planning to do the Springfield School District, and then they're like, we're remote. And it's like, cool.
Great, awesome.
We'll go to the next district over. So either way, you know, they're going to be put to good use. And even, you know, if everywhere goes remote for the first half of the semester, they're going to need to be used eventually. So if you want to buy one for yourself, you can do so. You can also choose to support one for someone else, sponsor a mask for a friend. Or you can just donate directly. All of the revenue from this stream will go right to them. So if you want to like super chat or anything like that, it'll get ferried over. They're good masks. They're waterproof. They look cool. They've got a special filter pocket, so you can put like extra protection filters in there. They the way that the strings work, it's a little bungee cord that goes behind the back of your head and around the top of your head, so it's not tugging on your ears, which is a really great piece of design, so you can wear it for long periods of time without going mad. And they're just good masks made by good people here in the old US of which means that it's not subcontracted out to infinity from some place that's just like, you know, burning through material in the fast fashion wasteland that we live in the 21st century here. So it's good. Good people making good stuff to help more good people by giving them good stuff. So if you can, check them out with the link down in the description.
Yep, they're really good. Like, you mentioned that they're waterproof, but they seriously don't mess around. Like, you're supposed to hand wash them, and when I do, I would, like, fill it up with water, and none of it would leak out. So, it's, like, really impressive waterproof fabric. And there's a filter pocket. The first time I used it, I accidentally used, like, 2 or 3 filters at once, which made it a little hard to breathe. But if you just use one filter, it works great.
When used
highly
as directed,
recommend.
they're perfect.
Yeah. I wore it out. I went out on the 4th of July to watch the penumbral eclipse, and I was out for like a couple hours, and I was obviously avoiding people, practicing responsible social distancing, but I was also wearing the mask the whole time, and it worked very well, and I wasn't like worn out or low oxygen. So yeah, highly recommend. It's real good. Obviously the point of the mask is to keep other people safe from you, but the fact that it's waterproof really does help keep you safe from other people too, because it, you know, it's an airborne pathogen in the vapor that you exhale or cough out, and if you're wearing a waterproof mask, it can't get in.
Yeah.
So,
There's actually been a study that Volante posted about on their own social media about a lab somewhere that tested different kinds of homemade masks and how much they blocked going out and I think also coming in. And there was like obviously N95, like super like fancy medical grade masks, obviously. But then the type of mask that the Volante Essential mask is would basically like first place of non-medical grade masks. So it was like, whoa, okay. And there were other kinds of stuff like single layer fabric, double layer fabric, bandana, which was the worst of the regular fabric masks because it's not secured at the bottom. So it doesn't really, like, it stops a cough from going right into someone's face, but, like, it's still, like, and
still
then actually,
breathing out bottom.
At the very bottom of the list was I think it was, like, no, it was...
Yeah, the neck gaiter ranked really badly.
Yeah, but specifically there was one that was worse than nothing. It was either, like, a certain kind of, like, wool or, like, a big... like a knitted thing. I don't know what the word for the different
knits
thing is.
definitely don't
but
work.
The knit actually breaks up larger particles into smaller particles, which is worse than not even wearing a mask at all. So that was good to learn about. Yeah, but it was really cool to see the like scientifically modeled ways in which different masks have different effectiveness. And the Volante mask is basically cream of the crop of non-medical grade.
Sorry, history librarian wanted to know what the name of Cyan's wheelchair was for the OSP deep lore.
Oh, is this strictly necessary?
No, it's fine. The wheelchair's name is Brenda. We have Brenda, which is the wheelchair, Barb, which is the cane, and the boys, which are the crutches. If anyone's adding that to their OSP lore list.
Oh, damn it, I lost the thing.
I just like to name them, because I think it's fun.
I don't understand the comments saying, "Oh, if the mask is waterproof, I can go swimming in it."
Oh,
like,
that's just spam. I'm hoping people are smarter than that.
well, I mean, it's more like, obviously that's not true, so they can't be saying it sincerely, which means either they're saying, like, "Oh, haha, a waterproof mask? That's great," or they're saying, "Oh, it's not safe going out in a waterproof mask in the same way that it would be unsafe swimming in a waterproof mask, haha." And I don't know if I'm reading too far into this or not.
Bad jokes.
Oh, you know, I always give the internet way too much credit. I'm always like, but what does it mean? And they're like, what it mean? Anyway.
Everything's
not
on
kill him?
fire. No, he's just burning alive.
Oh, this isn't my explosive arrows. Oh, well, boo.
Anyway, yeah, highly recommend the masks. Always wear a mask when you're going outside. It's probably... I know some people who are like, I'm gonna keep it down around my chin unless someone gets close, and then I'll put it up, which is like, I mean, if you're outside, that's probably not the worst thing you could do, but especially if you have to be in an enclosed environment, wear the mask. If there's no airflow, like, it can get really bad really fast, so, you know, just be safe, stay in if you can. But if you have to go outside, it's probably good to have a mask that you can actually rely on. Oh, and don't use one of those masks with like a valve, because those are for filtering air that you breathe in. So like some high grade painter's masks do that.
It depends on the mask and the valve.
Right, but most masks with release valves are there so that you inhale through the filter and then you exhale freely. It makes it easier for you to breathe. But that means that if you have the virus, you're just breathing straight out through the valve. It's just shooting directly out of the mask. So that basically defeats the purpose of wearing the mask to protect people from you. So don't wear those. I know they're fancier, and they probably do a decent job of keeping you safe, but no.
Most studies haven't actually found that those ones are that bad.
Really? Okay, that's good.
Like, it's a concern people have, but there's not a lot of scientific consensus on that because a lot of N95s are actually made with a valve that has a filter in it. So a lot of masks with valves have filters inside the valve, so it works both ways. It does depend on the mask. Just use your best judgment, but most of them are okay.
Lesson here being always do your research when looking at a mask, because they are not all created equal. Even if they look like they are similar, sometimes they can be very different in very important ways.
But
sadly,
at the end of the day, just wear a mask.
Yeah.
Whatever you got.
Although I will say, if you have the neck gaiter, don't wear that one. Sadly, I found this out because I have like a bunch of neck gaiters because I really like the look, but they are see-through if you hold them up to light. It's like polyester. It's not very tightly knit. It does not work at all to protect you or the people who you're talking to. So, sadly, you cannot just wear the cool workout neck gaiter thing. You gotta wear like a cotton mask. But yeah. Oh, and for the love of God, don't get those stupid decorative masks that don't actually do shit and are practically see-through from those Etsy stores that are like, the virus is a hoax, and the fact that they're making me wear this is communism or something.
Oh,
so,
yeah, the ones where
don't
it's
do
like,
that.
it's just a mesh.
It's just a mesh. It's like, I mean, listen, it's one thing to fucking be stupid yourself, but to make an Etsy store and actively promote that is a whole new level of malicious, so don't buy into that. It's stupid and I hate it.
Just, at the end of the day, you can just take, like, an old piece of scrap cloth that you have lying around, make a mask. You can buy them pretty much at any store at the moment.
Yep. There are ways to turn a bandana into a much better mask.
Can you wear your Plague Doctor mask over your Volante mask? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Oh man, what was it? I will say that early on I would take like very late night walks and I would wear it because I didn't have a proper mask. I would wear a bandana mask. And while it was open at the bottom, I did find like you can like tuck it into a sweatshirt and zip it up and then it's no longer just blasting your air out. So there are ways to like improvise one, but you don't have to. Buy a Volante mask. Woo, look at the description.
I usually can't get the stabs to work because it has a big wind-up. But... Oh, hey buddy.
Oh, right, so Redbubble has masks available, but Redbubble is very clear that these are fashion masks, and they like specifically say that you cannot sell them as medical grade masks, and you can't say that they're medical grade.
Yes, not that
and
you should not be wearing a medical grade mask anyway, because those should
Right.
be reserved for healthcare workers.
Right. Now I actually received a couple of the Redbubble masks, and they're definitely lighter weight than the masks that I really trust. And for me personally, they like kind of squish my nose a little bit, but that's just because my nose is like its own situation. It's definitely better than nothing. If you have one and you need to go out, wearing it is probably fine. But like, it's not particularly sturdy. It kind of feels like swimsuit material. Like, you know, you can't directly see through it, but basically the rule of thumb they tell you is like, if you can blow out a candle
Right,
while wearing it,
maybe we
it's
should,
not doing shit.
Maybe we should kill this mask discussion.
Really?
I think we're getting a little bit into
Medical
science.
advice.
Yeah, we are not
Territory.
giving medical advice this
Oh,
is
no,
our
no.
opinion on the different. I know, but it is important to say that.
Yeah,
because
yeah, no,
sometimes those kinds of things can not entirely be conveyed, and the nuance gets a little bit lost.
Right, sorry. It was just chat was asking about the redbubble masks
Yeah.
on our shop.
No, that's valid, but I think we should make very clear what is and is not medical advice.
Right, yeah, we're
because
not
that's-
qualified to give you
that's a
medical
problem.
advice.
Yeah. I'm gonna
the
wrap this, and then I think that's about time to call it a stream.
okay.
Yeah, because we got to go grab that car. Which again, I'm sorry, but we really got boned on the car front today. Get rid of these Mongols. Let's do something fun. Let's throw a big bomb.
Ooh, bombs?
There's no one here. Why did you put the X if there's no one here? Oh, there's the Tsushima banner. Fine.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Boom. Sticky bomb. Sticky bomb. Oh, there's a bear somewhere.
Yeah.
Oops. My bad.
There we go. Is that it? Let me be done. Banner! Oh, it's over there.
Oh,
Right.
and a dude.
Ass. Have another. There we go. Alright. Banners, and then, oh, the general. That means we're gonna have a last fight. Ugh.
Let's make this quick, General. I have to go pick up my car from the shop. What are you talking about?
Nani?
Alright. Then the general.
Oh, there's some supplies over there. Game, you
Okay.
will never be done.
Is that it? That's it. There we go. Fantastic. Liberate Kishibe Village.
Nice.
Cool.
Some people in the chat keep asking about your upload schedule. Like, guys,
Every Friday.
it's every Friday.
Banner says.
It's on our banner now. Yeah.
That's like the reason we changed it. It's because we got questions about
I
that.
keep seeing things like, when's the next video gonna be? Friday.
When in doubt, Friday. Like sometimes, rare occasions, we have like the one marvelous scene where we do, a Thursday upload because we're working on like the schedule given by Nandovi Movies because it's like his project that we're contributing towards. But like every other time, Friday.
Yep.
Friday.
Yep. It's always Friday, basically.
Yep.
And we also switch off who uploads.
Yes.
So if
It's
Blue
either-
uploaded last week,
yeah.
I upload this week.
Yeah, and Red's videos alternate between Big Myth Video and Trope Talk. My videos alternate between History Summarized, History Makers, History Summarized, History Hijinks, History Summarized, yada 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 yada,
Yeah.
on and on and on. So now you know. There's more for the OSP Deep Lore books.
Someone said, when's the next Friday gonna be?
Ah!
Can't help you with that one, bud.
Friday has been canceled. Okay. Well, this was a slightly chaotic stream, but it's a slightly chaotic day for us. So, oh, look at that. It was gorgeous. I apologize for that, but thank you all for hanging out with us today. We'll be back at some point, maybe not this week. I don't know how. We've.
Ooh,
Eh.
that's pretty fall.
That is a really but we'll stream eventually. We're gonna have a fun highlights video at some point.
It's in progress.
It is
yeah,
in
we're
the
working on
works.
it.
There is a lot of stream to highlight, but we'll get to it soon. So thank you all for being around. Also, I see Yellow down there in the chat. Check out his Twitch channel, Ludo History. He said he was going to be playing A Plague Tale: Innocence tonight and talking about the way that they handle alchemy in that game, which I can imagine is an interesting topic because alchemy is that thing that like you hear about a lot, but you never entirely know like what it actually was. But anyway, any last thoughts before we call it?
Oh, sorry, I'm eating a donut. Hold on.
Cool.
I mean,
Good thought. Cyan, anything?
Someone just texted me a picture that says our beanbag chairs, boneless sofas. So now you guys can all think about that.
Oh, all right. That's the cursed thought of the day. Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.